We got something really cool today. If you're a YouTuber or aspiring YouTuber, or you just want to get better at editing, this is gonna be amazing. We're doing a full end-to-end training on how to make a YouTube video. This happens to be an unboxing video, and you can download the work files and follow along with the description down below. And if you like this, we're coming out with a great big YouTube training that goes from the very, very basics if you've never edited before and takes you to being a pro editing YouTube videos. We're really excited. We've been working on it for a long time, but more about that later. Let's get into the training. All right, so let's get started on the project. Here we have DaVinci Resolve. I'm in the edit page with just a new default project. I'm gonna grab our clips, unboxing video and audio, and drag those into our media pool. And it's gonna ask me if I want to change my project settings. I'm gonna go ahead and change those because I want them to match my video, which for this training is 1920 by 1080 at 2997. The very first thing we gotta do is make a timeline. So I'm gonna right click on unboxing vid and just say create new timeline using selected clips. And it's gonna ask me if I wanna set all my settings like this. I'll just say create. And now we have our video added to the timeline. But what I think I'll do before that, I'm just going to select this and delete it. So I'll keep my timeline, but I'm just deleting the clip from the timeline, as I want to sync this audio with the video, because the audio here is not real great. So we're going to switch this with the good audio, which we have recorded on an external mic. I'm so excited to look at the cute animals. So I want to sync this good audio and replace the bad audio in my video track. How I'm going to do that is select both of these and then right click. Let's go down to auto sync audio based on waveform. Now it's going to think for a second, and now apparently nothing happens. But what actually happens is if I take this unboxing video and double click on it, I look at the black background cards, the good audio. Open those up too. Good, right? So now we can take this, drag this back into our timeline, and we have the good audio. Down here in our timeline, I'll do a couple little just housekeeping things. First thing, I'm going to just close our media pool by clicking on this media pool button right here. Now we have a little bit more space. And over here towards the left of our timeline, we have this little button right here. I'll click on that. And this is our timeline view options. So these are just different ways to display what the heck is going on in our timeline. First thing I'm going to do is take our video and audio tracks and make them really small with this button right here. That's just so it doesn't have to draw the thumbnails each time, because that can sometimes just slow things down. And we're gonna look at what's going on up here. We don't need to see it down there. If you like it, leave it, I guess, but I don't like it. Then I'm going to take my audio slider and boost that up a lot. That's going to let us see our waveform, if only we had our waveform on, which we need to click right here, and that's going to turn it on. The other thing I'll do is click this button, which will put the waveform on the bottom and just show us the top half, because I just like looking at it that way. The little peaks that are higher means it's louder. It's great. All right, let's close that. And now we're all set up for victory. The other thing I'm going to do right off the bat is just select this clip and go up to our inspector in the upper right hand corner. And I'm going to boost the volume. And I'm just going to do this until down in the waveforms, most of them are just a little bit closer to the top. If there's a few that are above the top, it's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean it's clipping. We're not going to worry about it a lot right now. We're just trying to hear the audio a little better while we edit. We're going to mix the audio and make sure it's good in a little bit. So for me, that's like adding 10 dB. Now we're set up to do our edit. Yes. By the way, if you're having trouble kind of navigating through all of these menus and everything, I definitely recommend checking out the edit page in 5 minutes video, which is right here. That goes through kind of all the basics of a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing here. The big YouTube training will go over all of the basics and starts real slow if you need that. Okay, so let's get cutting on this. I'm going to zoom in. Let's check our sync. All right, this is the Here to Slay unboxing video. Take one. Looks good. And we're going to start here with this. This is kind of the way that I like to edit, is I like to really just look at these audio waveforms and make the audio make sense. The video, we can kind of move stuff around, especially if somebody isn't talking on camera. If it's just kind of a shot of anything except for somebody's face, you can usually kind of move this around in time. So what I like to do is just make the story make sense when it comes to the audio. I'm going to get rid of this part, which I could do by using the blade tool and grabbing the first part and deleting it and then moving everything down. That would work. But a quicker way to do that is Control-Shift-Left bracket, and that'll do all of that at once. That basically just cuts the beginning of the clip off right at the playhead. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Here to Slay standard edition. And anytime that I want to cut the video at the playhead, I can hit Control \. That will cut the clip. And then I can do that same thing, Control Shift left bracket, to kind of chop the beginning of the next clip. So I'm doing this the whole time. Anytime that you see this cut and that little beginning chop off, or a cut here and the end chopped off, that's what I'm doing. That's Control \, and Control Shift brackets. Standard edition. I've been really excited about this game for a long time. Let's take a look. First of all, we obviously have this awesome main art here that just... What we're going to be doing is editing in passes. The idea is basically to go through the entire project and make the whole project pretty good, have the story work decently. It could be really rough, there could be problems, but if you had to render it out, it would at least sort of make sense, okay? So we're basically going to do this kind of thing for the entire timeline. First of all, I'm going to delete this repeated line. Let's take a look. First of all, we obviously have this awesome main art here that just, man, this is just, I love cute animals being violent. Oh, so good. Let's take a look at the back. Have a little bit about the game. So I'm going to delete that duplicate. Look at the back. Have a little bit about the game. And I'm not worrying about jump cuts at all. About the game, as well as the contents, we have one main deck, 6 oversized party leader contents. We have one main deck, I say 1, and I really should say 6 right there, so I'm going to delete that 1. We have one main deck, 6 oversized party leader cards, 15 oversized monster cards, 6 rules, reference cards, and 2... And I breathe there weird, so... 6 rules, reference cards, and 2 6-sided die. All right. So on this first pass, I'm just going to go through this whole timeline and edit it to this level. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Here to Slay Standard Edition. I've been really excited about this game for a long time. Let's take a look. First of all, we obviously have this awesome main art here that just, man, this is just, I love cute animals being violent. Oh, so good. Let's take a look at the back. Have a little bit about the game, as well as the contents. We have one main deck, 6 oversized party leader cards, 15 oversized monster cards, 6 rules, reference cards, and 2 6-sided die. So we're going to go through the whole thing and make it look like that, basically. And one thing I'll do is change our audio track because it's just coming out of one ear. I'll right-click on the audio track and say change track type to mono. That's going to make sure that this mono mic track main art here actually comes out of both ears. Yay! I love cute animals. I won't make you watch me do this entire thing. Let's use the power of movie magic to speed this up. One thing also that might be helpful is to turn off the snapping, which is this button right here, this little magnet. If you turn that off, then you can really be exact about where you put that playhead. And then you can cut the front off of a clip or the back off a clip. That's something I really like about the people who make unstable unicorns. All right. You guys probably know I'm a big fan of the awkward ending to a video, so that's how we're going to end this. And basically, when you're making a YouTube video, you want the person who's watching you to click on the next video. So we put the video up here when I point to it. Boop, boop. And then we just kind of hang out here for about 20 seconds or so, just to give them a lot of chance to click it. That's the nice thing about YouTube videos these days is it doesn't really have to have a super amazing ending. It's actually better if it ends somewhat suddenly if you want somebody to keep watching your videos. Now you know the trick a little bit. All right, so we have this roughly edited. It's about 4 minutes long, which is okay. And this is just our first pass. So really all we've done is make this make sense and take out most of the little screw ups, most of the repeats, so that we could watch this back and it works pretty well. One thing with making YouTube videos, as I'm sure you notice on my videos, is at least in my opinion, it's totally okay to have jump cuts. This is not that formal of a thing. It's not like we're trying to present, an expert's researched opinion on a very serious subject or something, right? If you had a interview where there was a guy here and he was talking about, all the research he's done, you don't want to jump cut this guy a whole lot because it's obvious that you cut his words together and you're kind of splicing a sentence. But for something like this, we can assume that if there's a jump cut, it's just because some time went on between me saying one thing and saying the other thing, which I think in this context is totally okay. So what I like to do after the first pass is watch this back, and I like to put a marker anytime there's something that I want to fix. So I don't stop and fix it right away. I watch the whole thing through and make a marker just to remind myself to go back and fix something. I feel like this is probably the fastest way to actually edit something, is you do your first pass, go through and add markers where things are bad. And to add a marker, you can either click this button right here, or you can just hit M on the timeline. I'm a fan of hitting M. Let's make this a little bigger. Something like that, and I'll just hit spacebar. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Let's Take a Look. First of all, we obviously have this awesome right there. Main art here. All right, very first thing is the instructions, introduction, cut that
what's
all right.
in the box, says, and how to win. Oh man, I'm so excited.
Right here,
very clear,
when I have this upside down,
about how
it looks dumb. Let's switch that.
The game. They have all the details about what the heck this is and how to win. Look at that cute little kidnapper. Oh.
All right, so I think this is, for the most part, pretty good. We're gonna fix these little bits here. First thing I'm gonna do is just cut out this time. Just trim the beginning and end of those.
Third edition. I've been really excited about this game for a...
All right, and then we have this one right here. What did I care about?
All right, very first thing is...
Oh, I wanted to cut out that second all right because I just said all right.
All right.
So let's get rid of this marker and then Control Shift left bracket.
Very first thing is the... very first thing is...
All right, what I also might do here is do an L cut. Easy way to do that is hold down Alt and grab the video transition and just move it to the right. Then the audio will start before the video and kind of soften that cut.
Very first thing is the instruction.
That works well. And then we'll go to this marker.
They're very visual about how to play the game.
Oh, that's right. This is upside down. I think instead of opening this up like this, we'll just cut to it turned around. So what I'm going to do to make that happen is hold down Alt and select our video track. That'll just select the video instead of both the video and the audio in our clip. And that happens because we're in linked selection mode, which you can switch right here with this button. But sometimes it's easier just to leave this on and hold down Alt, and that'll do whatever the opposite is. So I'm just going to select the video and then split that clip right there with Control \, and I'll just get rid of this clip. I'll hold down Alt again, and I think what I'll do is just see how long this clip is. Move this down, and I think that'll work. Basically just putting this clip over where it would have been. So let's take a look here.
They're always very, very clear, very visual about how to play the game. They have all the details about what the heck this is.
All right, I'm not a fan of like my hand just starting to do something and then not actually doing it. So I wonder if we can just roll this back. So I'll hold down Alt and just roll this transition back a little bit to where both sides aren't moving. Now,
always very, very clear, very visual about how to play the game. They have all the details about what the heck this is and how to win. Oh man, I'm so excited to look at the cute animals. This is and how to win. Oh man.
Oh, look at this. It's almost like a transition.
Oh man, I'm so excited to look.
But this is kind of the same problem. So I'm going to just, again, hold down Alt and drag this transition. And I'm just going to drag it over this whole clip to kind of move it out. To just basically delete it.
What the heck this is and how to win. Oh man, I'm so excited to look at the cute animals.
Yep, that works great. So now we have our rough cut done and we fixed any of the major big problems. We might do some more tweaking on this beforehand, but even if we rendered it like this, it wouldn't be too bad. Now let's make this a little bit more interesting by adding some music. Video like this is pretty painful without music, as you probably have noticed by watching it through with me. Let's find some. So a good place to find music for your videos is in your YouTube studio, which looks a lot like this, but less blurry. Down here in the menu, click on Audio Library. And now we have all kinds of music that you can use in your videos. I'm going to search one called Fur Parade. FUR. And it's called the Fur Parade. It's by The Whole Other. And just go ahead and click download. And once you have that downloaded, just drag it into your media pool. And there you got it. So let's add the music just by dragging it from the media pool into the timeline. And I'll close the media pool. Now this is where things are going to start to come together a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is turn down our music. That's like always the first thing you do because music comes in super loud. So I'm going to do like -12, something like that at least. And let's just see how this feels because we're probably going to want some kind of beginning here too.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Here to Slay Standard Edition. I've been really excited about this game for a long time. Let's take a look.
All right, so this is a great little intro here. What I'll do is right click and let's change the color here of these clips just so we remember which ones are the intro, and we can make it any color. I'll make it teal. So that's our intro. And so really what we're going to do is go to a little graphic bumper right after this. So let's move everything else down. A quick way to grab everything to the right of your playhead is hit Alt and then Y. It's going to grab everything to the right, and we'll just give it a few seconds here, something like that. Now, what I like to do is make sure that the music kind of leads into the intro. So it's like, yeah, we're going to go, and then it's like the branding of the channel, right? So what we should do is find where this starts to kick up.
Time. Let's take a look.
All right, right there is where it kicks in. So a great way for us to remember that is select this and hit M on the keyboard. That'll add a marker to the clip instead of the sequence. So now I can move this around, and if I have snapping on, it will actually snap that marker to the end of this clip. And I can drag this out. And let's see how it goes.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing.
I'm also going to trim this beginning.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Here to Slay Standard Edition. I've been really excited about this game for a long time. Let's take a look.
There we go. Okay, that's about as long as you'd want an intro. Guys, don't make like a 1,000,000-hour intro, okay? It doesn't need to be 30 seconds. It doesn't need to be a minute. It needs to be 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. And it's good to like just use a couple measures of your music, okay? So this is like 2 measures. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, out. So right there, that's where our graphic is gonna be. I'm gonna go ahead and lock our audio track just so that doesn't move around. And again, I can hit Alt-Y to select everything to the right, except for our audio track, and we'll just bring that up to that marker. So now we have this kind of little slug.
Game for a long time. Let's take a look.
First of all, this music has cats in it. Like it has the meow, which I thought is normally really obnoxious, but this is all about cute animals. And so you know what? We getting crazy. We getting crazy. If you don't like it, grab some different music. So now we have a problem. Our music isn't long enough for our song. So we have a couple of options. We can repeat our music, or we can pick another track. Depends on if you're tired of the music or not. We're just gonna try and repeat it. So I'll hold down Alt and just drag this just to repeat it. And man, you can just about do the whole thing twice, which isn't necessarily the best idea. So,
Man, this art is just epic, dude. I love the colors. These are obviously super well differentiated from each other. The orange and yellow is maybe a little bit close, but cauldron? Oh man, I'm probably just butchering these things. Mega slime. That's cool. I love the colors on that.
we also don't want it to just be obviously done in the middle of our video. If we are going to repeat this, I think I'm just gonna trim this to that first marker, which happens to be on beat, the first beat of a measure. And let's find the end of this clip.
Oh, thanks. Anarin.
I'm gonna mute our dialogue track. 3, 4. Right there. And let's drag this down and see if it works. And really what we're looking for is the timing. I think that works even though the transition's a little bit awkward. We could probably crossfade this. It's not the best, but it's not too bad. Yeah, that works. It's not the best, but it works.
Anarin cauldron. Anurin Cauldron? Oh man, I'm probably just butchering these things. Mega
Yep.
Slot.
That totally works. And let's see if this is...
This is everything that you get. I'm really excited to dig into this game. If you want more card game related stuff, unboxing videos, how to play videos and stuff.
So we just need to make this a little bit longer. So why don't we just double this section here? So I'm just basically going to cut this really terribly at the very beginning of this little last section, and then hold down Alt and drag this out. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stop this on the beat.
Beautiful, look at this. Each of these hero cards do...
Okay, this is the first beat of a measure. And then...
This is where you need to go. Oh, look at that cute little kidnapper.
All right. Then we just got to bring the markers together. Let's see if that works.
Beautiful, look at this. Each of these hero cards do certain things.
Not perfect, but you won't hear it under the speaking.
Each of these hero cards do certain things. Draw a card. If that card is a hero card, you may play it immediately. But this is everything that you get. I'm really excited to dig into this game. If you want more card game related...
All right.
Bard heroes, and then more magic cards here. Nice. Man, every single card is just beautiful. Look at this. Each of these hero cards do certain things. Draw a card. If that card is a hero card, you may play it immediately. But this is everything that you get. Oh, look at that cute little kidnapper. Oh man, he's so cute. Look at him. He has a little grappling hook.
Yep, that works. When you have an end screen like this, it can go all the way to the end. It can end a little early. It's nice because it doesn't have to be a really nice wrapped up ending here. It kind of just fades into the next video. So now that we have the music basically roughed in here, let's do a little bit of audio mixing. That happens in the Fairlight page. So all we have to do to go there is just click on this little button here that says Fairlight, and that will open our timeline, the same timeline in the Fairlight page. This might seem a little bit intimidating, but really Fairlight is just like any other audio mixing program, and you don't need to know 90% of what the heck is happening here. Just literally do what I'm doing, and I'll try to explain it the best we can. We have two audio tracks here. We have our dialogue track and our music track. I can rename these by double clicking on the track headers here. So this is dialogue, I'll say DIA, and then the second one is music, I'll put MUS. We can control the volume and everything of them over here in the mixer by moving these little sliders up and down. That said, I don't usually like to do it that way. I like to leave these faders at 0, is because the filters that we're going to put on these tracks are going to do a lot of this work for us, and we don't want to mess with the audio signal any more than we need to, so we're just going to leave it at 0. But up here, we have some magical things. Oh, it's so good. In the first track, the dialogue track, we're going to add a filter that basically makes all of the audio all come through at the same volume, make sure it's not too loud, make sure it's not too quiet, and just kind of balances everything out really nicely without having to go in and do it ourselves. You get to that by double clicking on this little square by Dynamics on the first track, and that brings up our Dynamics dialogue. This is just a collection of different filters we can put on our audio. We're going to use a couple filters. We're going to use a compressor and a limiter, so we can turn on whichever ones we want to use. The limiter makes sure that things don't get way too loud. So this threshold knob is basically how loud anything can be. And what I like to do is set this at like -3, something like that. If somebody's watching your video on a laptop or something with crappy speakers, you want to make sure it's pretty darn loud so that they can actually hear what's going on. But you don't want it too loud. We could technically bring this all the way up to 0 and be okay, but what I like to do is do -3 just to give us a little bit of breathing room so that things don't clip if this gets louder or quieter a little bit. There's also a little bit of volume that's added when we compress our movie, when we render it out, and it's just good practice to have this about -3 or so. The compressor, this is what makes the signal quieter at certain times. So when things are really loud, it will make the really loud parts quieter. This threshold controls when we start turning stuff down. So if stuff is louder than -15, we're going to start turning it down. Ratio is how much we turn it down. So the best way to really set this is just to click in your timeline and play through it. And what we're going to do is listen to this signal, and we're going to turn the threshold down until we start to see blue bars in these meters right here. So let's play it through.
6 rules, reference cards.
So we see this little blue part.
And we just got the logos on the sides.
Bring it down a little more.
Let's crack this puppy open. All right. Very first thing is the instructions, introduction, what's in the box, how to start, how to play, class symbols. That's something I really like about the people who make Unstable Unicorns, is they're always very, very clear, very visual about how to play the game.
Okay, so this is pushing down a little bit when it's like medium volume. When it's quiet, it's not pushing down at all. And when it's loud, it's pushing down a lot. And that's the sweet spot. So when it's loud.
Introduction, what's in the box, how to start, how to play, class symbols. That's something I really like about the people who make Unstable Unicorns, is they're always very, very clear, very visual about how to play the game. They have all the details about what the heck this is and how to win.
All right, so that's actually turning stuff down quite a bit.
War-worn owlbear, that is so awesome. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it's like turning it down 6 decibels or so when things are loud, and when they're quiet,
Horn, the cloaked sage, and the charismatic.
When it's quiet, it's not really turning it down very much, which is where we want to be. So now that that's a thing, we want to push up our makeup, because what this is going to do is make everything real quiet.
Man,
if we look at our output,
epic, dude. I love the
things are like in between -10 and -20, which what you really want for a YouTube video, for an online video, is for your output to be more in like this area, like -6, -8, somewhere in there. That's about where you want it to be, because then it's loud enough for people to hear on their little system. This is different if you're making something for like a movie theater, right? Or for broadcast, because it gets put through filters and stuff that like you need to worry about. But this is the final touch. So we need to make it loud enough for people to hear.
The protecting horn.
So what I'll do is push up makeup.
Charismatic song. Man, this art is just epic, dude. I love the colors. These are obviously super well differentiated
Until this
from
is
each
kind
other.
of
The orange and
peaking
yellow
right
is
in
maybe
between
a little bit close, but you know,
0
you
and
can't
10.
be perfect at everything. All right, let's take a look at the black-backed cards. Ooh, these feel amazing. I don't know, there's something with the texture there that's...
There we go. Okay, that looks good. And now we have our dialogue roughly mixed pretty well.
Just beautiful.
So again, we don't have to have this amazing cinematic mix. We just need to hear it pretty well and have somebody not turning their volume up and down all the time, right? Now let's add one more filter to the music, and the filter we'll add is an EQ. An EQ isn't in the dynamics panel, it's actually in the EQ panel right here. And you get to that by double clicking on this little cyan line. And now we have this EQ. An EQ turns down specific tones of the audio. And the human voice is in between 1K and 2K, somewhere in here usually. And so what we're going to do is just turn down that part, like -6, something like that. Just turn that down a little bit, because what this is going to do is get rid of the sound that competes with the dialogue. And that means we can actually have the music a little bit louder and still be able to understand the dialogue really well. It just makes it a little bit more clear.
The very first thing is the instructions, introduction, what's in the box, how to start, how to play, class symbols. That's something I really like about the people.
All right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna close that, and we're pretty much done here in the Fairlight page. So we can go back over to the edit page anytime. We can always switch back and forth no matter what. And the last thing I'm gonna do with audio is make sure that this music is loud enough when we cut to our graphics here, because I'm not talking under it. So we want that sound to kind of fill in. You can fade this up and down in a bunch of different ways. A lot of people like to hold down Alt and click on this volume line to make like little keyframes here. And you can boost it up wherever you want it to be louder.
Look.
And that totally works.
First of all, we obviously have...
That totally works. But I don't generally like to do it this way. The reason for that is because if I want to change where this graphic comes in, let's say I move this down a little bit like this, right? Everything kind of moves in like this. Then this music is going to come in and compete with my audio.
Let's take a look.
Which isn't great. So to change this, I'm going to have to hold this and scooch it down like this, scooch this down like this. I can hold down Shift to not mess with it, but it's still kind of janky. It's really easy to mess this up and mess up one of these volume things. It's just, you know what I mean? It's finicky. And so to make a simple change, you have to mess with it for a while. Here's what I like to do. I'll just undo all of this. What I like to do, instead of adding those keyframes, is select my music and split it right here where these clips come in, and then push this volume up in this middle clip right here. And then I can select one and control select the other one, and then just hit Control T. And that'll add a crossfade to each of these, which is basically fading it up into this new audio.
Let's take a look.
It's just a really slick way to do this.
First of all, we obviously have this awesome...
So that's nice, because if we need to move this around like this, I can just grab the middle of this and roll it and then we're done. Super easy, right? So audio is good. Next, we'll get into color and graphics. We're going to do some basic color correction on this. And the great thing is this is all one shot. So we only really have to do this on one clip and we'll just copy it to the other clips. To get into color mode, all we have to do is go down to the color page button right here and click on color. And now we're in the color page. If you're not familiar with this color page, check out this video because I'm not going to explain every single thing in this specific training, although I do explain quite a bit in the big YouTube training that we're going to be coming out with very soon. So what I like to do is hide my timeline, and I'm going to pick a clip that has both the main subject as well as skin tones if they are ever in there. So I don't know, something like this, probably this one, because we have some nice white, we have some nice colors. Yeah, this one right here. We have white, we have colors, we have skin tone. This is a great shot to figure out our color. Let's open up our scopes and we're going to figure out what this needs. Very first thing this needs is probably to be a little bit brighter because this white just isn't coming in as white. It's like bright gray. So let's grab the gain master wheel and I'll boost this up. This is just going to make everything a little bit brighter. And we'll take this to like 896 somewhere in there. This is where that white piece of paper lives on our scopes. So I'm going to boost that up to be bright enough, but not way too bright. And it looks like it's pretty balanced as well. So that's good. Now we're going to check our blacks. The very, very darkest black, which is down here, that also looks pretty balanced. Grab the lift master wheel and push that down just a touch to where those are just kissing the bottom. Now we have some good contrast in our image. I'm going to boost up our saturation just a touch and maybe boost our gamma just a little bit too. Now we can kind of play through this and it should look nice and poppy. To give it just a little more poppiness, we'll go down to the curves and add a very subtle S curve. Just a little one like that. That just kind of gets rid of the kind of foggy look. So here's before we color correct and here's after. So it's pretty subtle, not doing anything crazy, but it should look pretty nice. Now to copy this to all of our other shots, I can click down here in the clips and hit Control A, and that's going to select everything. And then I'm just going to middle button mouse click on the shot that I color corrected. That's just clicking down on the scroll wheel, and that's going to change everything to have that same color grade. That looks pretty nice. I think that looks good. And I'm just going to go through and spot check, make sure nothing changed throughout. Make sure nothing's like completely blown out or anything. Looks good to me. Okay. So that's color for our project. Super easy, right? One thing to make it just a little better, maybe we'll add just a subtle vignette. I'll go up to our nodes, right click and say add serial. That's going to make a node after this. This is just going to be a separate correction that we're going to do on top of everything else. And let's go to our windows. That's this third little icon here. And I'll add a circle window. Now I can adjust my circle window in my viewer, make it a little bit softer, something like that. I want it really soft. And now I can do something like go to my gamma and just push this master wheel down. It's going to darken the middle of this, which is the opposite of what we want. If we go down to the window and click on this little dot inside of a square, that's going to invert that window. So now we're just darkening the edges just a little bit. If you click on the number of the node, that'll turn this correction on or off. So now we have just a subtle vignette. You notice how this isn't a really hard vignette. This is a subtle vignette. Keep it subtle. You don't want a video that has a vignette like this, where it's just not very soft, but it's really dark. Guys, this doesn't look good. Please, for the love, don't do this. I'm begging you for humanity, okay? Even something like this is probably a little rough. Even if it's softer, it's just a little rough. So keep it really soft, really towards the edges, and don't make it too dark. So just a little bit, okay? If you can notice it while you turn it off and on, that's good. But you shouldn't be able to just notice it really easily and be like, wow, there's a big old vignette on that. Now that I have this vignette on our shot number 3, I'll hit Control A and then middle button mouse click to copy that vignette to everything. So everything should have that vignette. There we go. And again, because it's so subtle, it's okay if something's like not quite in the middle because it's not going to make it look terrible. Just gives it a little bit of class, that's all. All right, so that's our color. To switch back to our edit, we just click on the edit button down below. And now we have our whole project color corrected. As you scroll through this, you can actually see the refresh rate of the lights. I think that's interesting. But you don't notice it while you're playing it back. That's the nice thing. So last thing we're going to do is add a graphic, and this is going to be really, really simple. Normally, if you do a bunch of YouTube videos, you'll probably have some branding already, but let's make some really simple branding for kind of an unboxing channel, okay? We're going to do this in Fusion. And so over here in my media pool, I'm going to make a new Fusion composition. We'll do that by right-clicking and selecting new Fusion composition. It's going to ask me stuff. I'll just hit create and then double-click on this, and it should open up a blank comp in Fusion. If you're unfamiliar with Fusion, you don't know what the heck this is at all, and you're super lost, check out this video. It goes over the basics of it because I'm not going to go over them in detail right now, although we do in the main YouTube training that we're going to be releasing very soon. So let's start with a background node. I'll grab this node right here and drag it down, and let's connect the output to our media out. This is going to be the background color of our composition, and it's also just a great way to start any kind of blank Fusion composition with a background. I think what we're going to do is just kind of do like a bluish teal, something maybe like this. Yeah. And the idea here is I want to have a box and then have the words come out of a box, right? Because it's unboxing. So let's make the words first. I'll do that by grabbing this T and dragging it into our nodes here. I'll take the output and merge it over our background like this. Let's select text, and we'll call this unboxing. Let's just say that's the name of our YouTube channel. Let's pick a different font. I'll use Open Sans Condensed just because it's nice and it seems to be on everybody's system. And let's make it about the size we want. I generally make things pretty small. I feel like things look pretty classy. I feel like text looks classier when it's smaller in the frame. Something like that. And then let's pick an orangish golden. Yeah, unboxing. That looks nice. All right, now we need to make a box for unboxing. I'm going to do that by grabbing another background node, dragging that in. I'll take the output of the background node and drag it over the merge. So now we have our black background, but we don't want it black. Let's make it sort of the same color, maybe like a lighter yellow, something like that. And we don't want this to fill up the whole screen. We just want it to be a box. So we can mask this background by selecting our background. And let's go over here to our masks and just click on rectangle. And that'll add a little box. It's nice. And with our rectangle mask selected over here in our inspector, we can adjust the width, and we'll just make it just so it covers up our text. Same thing for the height, just so it covers up our text, and maybe a little more, something like that. And we'll bring this down to here. So now this is going to come out of that box. Great. So let's animate this. All we're going to really do is adjust the position of our text. So I'll grab the text, and let's move a few frames forward here in our comp. Let's say, I don't know, about 15 frames or so. And at 15 frames, this is where we want this to be. Then over in our inspector with our text selected, I'll go over to this second tab right here. Right here where it says center, this is what we're going to animate. We can add a keyframe right here by clicking on this keyframe diamond. And now we're saying at 15 frames, we want it to be right here, 0.5, 0.5. Let's go to the beginning of our comp. So I'm just going to move our playhead to the 0. And now at 0, we're just going to put this in the box. I'm going to click and drag this 0.5 right by Y and just drag it to the left so that it goes inside of the box. And now, bloop, unboxing. Super simple, but it totally works. If you're into Fusion, if you really like graphics, you can totally make this crazier if you want to, but that'll work for us today. One thing that I will do is adjust the animation curve of this unboxing text because it comes in and then it just kind of stops really quickly. To fix that, we can adjust kind of the speed of things in the spline panel. In the upper right-hand corner, click on spline, and that's going to make a panel down here that will list basically anything that you have animated in your comp. When we animate center, it's actually called displacement. So I'll click on that checkbox, and that will add an arbitrary pink line, which will make no sense. But then if you click this button right here, zoom to fit, then it will actually show you a graph of what the heck is going on. And this graph goes at a constant rate and then just instantly stops. What we want this to do is just kind of ease into it, right? So let's select this last keyframe, and I'll hit F on the keyboard. That's going to flatten out this tangent here. So all it does is go ooh and just calms down right before it stops, which is more realistic, looks more pro. I'll close our spline panel and let's take a look. Yeah, that's nice. Comes in just nicely, comes to a rest. Unboxing. Perfect. Now, how do we get this into our edit? Let's go back to our edit page. And this graphic that we made lives right here in this Fusion comp. I can grab this and drag it down to our timeline. And there it is. And I can move this around and trim it just like it were a video clip. We'll just put that right there. And one thing with Fusion compositions is sometimes they won't play back super well until this little bar turns blue. So once it's blue, it should play back great. So now, unboxing. Yeah, nice. There we go. Totally works. Let's see what this is like.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the Here to Slay Standard Edition. I've been really excited about this game for a long time. Let's take a look. First of all, we obviously have this awesome main art here that just, man, this is just, I love cute animals being violent. Oh, so good. Let's take a look at the back. Have a little bit about the game, as well as the contents. We have one main deck.
So this is our finished video. Looks awesome. It's ready for YouTube. Let's render this out. I'll go down to the deliver page. And the easiest way to export this for YouTube is just to click on YouTube preset right here and fill in your information. And you can actually upload it directly to YouTube if you want to. All you have to do is sign into your YouTube account in the preferences of Resolve. But what I like to do is click to this YouTube preset and then click back to custom, because then it sets everything to that YouTube preset, but then it lets you adjust things. And so one thing I'll adjust is right here where it says 10,000, I'm gonna make that 30,000. What that does, this is basically how much data is put into every second of your video. And the higher this number is, the better your video is going to look to a certain point. You can obviously overshoot this and have it not look any better, but I found this is a great balance of file size as well as quality. So if we get that to 30,000 and pretty much leave everything else, then pick a place to put this. I'll put it somewhere really pro like the desktop. I'll call it Here to Slay Unboxing. And once all of that is good, I'll click Add to Render Queue. And that's gonna put a job over here in the render queue. So things aren't rendering yet, they're just getting ready to render. You can actually make a bunch of different jobs here if you want to. Now that this is here, I'll just hit Start Render. We did it. We're rendering it out, baby. We did it, guys. Oh man. I hope this was helpful for you and that you learned a lot. If you did, stay tuned because we're gonna come out with a great big training that goes over 4 YouTube videos like this. And it goes from the very basics, like I've never even opened an editor, to I'm compositing graphics in Fusion. It's pretty awesome. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. It's coming out very soon. And if you're eager to jump into some more training right now, we have our masterclass that goes pretty in depth about how to make a longer project in Resolve from beginning to end. Yeah, it's good. You stayed all the way to the end of this video.